I should be able to talk. Clear out. Lori's going to bring her computer in here. We're trying to get a feed to Paris right now. Last minute, of course. Yeah, back out there.
Good, how you doing? Good to see you. Thank you.
Yeah, your laptop. Ah! To Lori through Zoom, trying to see if you can hear me. You can hear me loud and clear, Lori? I can hear you as well talking through your computer, so we do have good audio. I think we should be good. So we'll just wait for Professor Fulo to unmute his mic and talk back to us. Then we'll know for sure how we're doing on that end. But oh, okay, he's having a connection problem. And you sound great, so if you're talking either way, we're good. I know, hydrate. It's important. Okay, I'm going to sign off for a sec. Bye. Yeah, I'm just going to mute.
All right. We still have 5 minutes left. Please take time to walk around and check out the posters.
All right, all right. Let's get back to our seats. I hope you guys enjoyed the presentations of the different regions in Africa. If we get everybody back to their seats as we find out the winner of the Shark Tank here shortly.
Is connected successfully.
All right, I need everybody back to their seats. Yeah, go back for the fashion show, yeah. Can you just write it down? No, I can't do this. You need to write it down here. All right, I need everybody back to the seats here shortly. If you can, please get back to your seats.
We are wrapping up the kids' event, and then, yeah.
And then kids, if you're in the fashion show, if you could line up in the back. Fashion show. Send them. If I could get everybody back to their seats. Thank you all for checking out the regions.
So welcome back, everybody. I hope you got a chance to look at our region posters and got a taste of each region. We're approaching the best part of the event. We have the fashion show. Now will be welcoming our judges to the stage to announce the winner of the Shark Tank. So please help me welcome Miriam Diaz to the stage.
Thank you, Mamadou. All right, judges, if you want to join me on stage, please. All right, so we'll be now announcing the winner of ALG's Youth Empowerment Program's 2021 Shark Tank contestant, right? So we have our judges on stage here, so let's get ready to do this. You guys know who you are? So I'll have the spokesperson, Lily.
Hello. So the winner for this year's Shark Tank is Ule with the Pick and Chill.
Thank you guys so much. I'm so glad to have this opportunity. I hope I'm able to execute this, and I hope it'd be something that to inspire, young generation, people like me, kids like me, to know that, you know what, if you don't start, nobody else will, and you know what, if you have the opportunity, just go for it. Thank you.
All right, we're going to give another round of applause to our other contestants as well. They did an amazing job. They worked very hard as well, so thank you. And I'll bring the MCs back to the stage.
Congrats to Hule on winning the Shark Tank competition. We hope to see your launch of your business soon. We are approaching the best part of the celebration, the fashion show. So help me welcome Liz W., who will be our announcer, and shout out to DJ, who will be playing all the music for our amazing models.
Excited? Are you guys ready to see some awesome fashion? Oh, let me try that again. Are you guys excited? Are you guys ready to see some awesome fashion? There we go. Awesome. So this is always my favorite part of the Youth Empowerment Program every year, just to get to see the personalities of the kids and see the fashion show. I love fashion, and so this is gonna be a fun time. We're gonna have some Afro beats, get to see a bit of the culture of some of the kids that are in our program as they represent so well as youth. And so we're gonna get started. I'm gonna let the DJ hit it off for us as they first come, and I'm gonna nod you. So come on, Amy, lead it off for us. Yes. Ooh, Ami forgot to tell the rest of her crew to come too. Come through. So the first country that we're going to have is the beautiful Senegal. Ami is representing traditional attire. Yes, she looks so beautiful in that pink, showing off for her traditional wear. Now we're gonna move from West Africa and cross over the continent and hit Ethiopia. We have these two amazing melanated siblings by the name of Lydia and Caleb, and they are showcasing themselves and the beauty of the red and white. Come on. If you know to move your shoulders a little bit. Yes! Yes, Ethiopia is popularly known for their shoulder work and their utilization. Good job. Now we have this amazing brother couple. Jason's walking with his little brother as he's showing off for his country. Uh-oh. Come on, Jason, lead the way. He gonna follow you. Yes, there we go. Take a look at the beautiful shirt and beautiful attire. We have a young model in the making. So much personality. Next, we're going to move over to the beautiful Mali as we have Atu representing in her attire. Look at that. Go ahead, ma'am. Look at this. Looking like an African princess. Yes, walk it, girl, walk it. Come on, Atu. Atu, he wants you to walk back. Your outfit is so good. You got to do it twice. Yes. Oh, now I'm excited for this one. We have Isata and Jeneba coming through for Senegal again, showing off a different representation. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. Now, this is a country that's near my country of Kenya. We're going to move over to Eritrea. And Miss Silvana is going to be walking with her younger brothers to showcase the beauty of Eritrea. Yes. Come on. I love that fabric, especially in the summertime. Now the next model is a younger brother of a good friend of mine. His name is Luis, and he's representing for his country of Angola. Come on, Luis, show us up. Yes! Oh, come on, moves, come on, moves. We love to see it. Now, our beautiful, one of our presenters is coming. She's done changed outfits and is looking amazing. Take a look at Miss Binta herself. Yes! I love the color. It's my favorite color. Now, you can't miss her because she is glistening and glittering. The beautiful Ketia is out here representing her Francophone country. Come through, sis. Yes, we love the confidence. Come on. Now, many people love this country. It's one of the most popular countries in Africa. We're gonna move over back to the beautiful Ghana with the sisters Jada and Janelle showcasing their attire. Come on, Accra. Come on, Ankara material. We love to see it. Yes. Beautiful. Woo, woo, woo. Now, if you know who the founder of ALG is, you obviously know these three ladies that are about to come up to close us off. They're the beautiful sisters that go by Matu, Fama, and Miriam's. Come on and close us off for the beautiful Senegal. Yes, walk it. Come on, Matu, lead them, lead them. I want you guys to celebrate your beautiful melanated children as they come back up one more time. Amma, come on and lead the way. Come on back so we see you one more time. You all look so beautiful. Let's give them a hand clap one more time. Good job, guys. Thank you so much. These kids don't want to leave the stage. They want you to admire their beauty. I told you guys we're going to get a lot of personality from the kids. Good job. Like I said, you're going to see their amazing personalities during the fashion show for sure. So I'm going to hand it back over to Mamadou to take it away. I'm Binta, sorry.
Thank you all for coming. I want to bring Papa Dia back to the stage for closing remarks.
Wow, 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 wow. You know, we are all about to get fired. These kids are so good that they're about to take over whatever job we might have or title. Please help me give them another round of applause. You know, as far as closing remark, I don't know where's Brother Darius. I don't know if he's in the room, the keynote speaker. So if you did not get a chance to listen to his speech, please make sure you go back to the ALG Facebook and listen to what he had to say when it comes to education. The moment we spent, it was about the children. And my only ask to parents that get a chance to be here with them is pay attention to them. And here they demonstrated how bright they are from the business presentation, from the award we had for them, from the activity, and I hope you get a chance to go and see the presentation that they did about different regions of Africa. We are so proud of you guys, and we know our future is in good hand. Now, there's another part of the program that's happening, and I would like also the kids to stick around and participate in this program, because this is when we get to talk directly to our stakeholders when we come to our children education, put together by our Parent Engagement Committee. So I would like once again to congratulate you. We are extremely, extremely proud of you. You represent us extremely well. And I think one of the things that's more relevant is to have our kids. It doesn't matter if, as parents, we are from Ethiopia, from Senegal, but our kids coming together and embracing their culture, their background, and I know that's something we have to learn, and we can learn from them. Thank you so much for an amazing presentation, and we'll be back with you shortly for the second part. Thank you, Amadou. Thank you, Uzi. Thank you, Liz, for working with these children. Very proud of you. Thank you.
Wow, wow, wow. Woo! I don't know about you guys, I feel good. I'm just amazed. Oh. I'm just amazed at the talent we have here in the Youth Empowerment Program. These kids have been working hard all summer long to put on a show. And what they do today, put on a show. So a round of applause for the students. Congrats to you all. Thank you.
The Bluetooth is connected successfully.
Okay, all right. Again, I want to thank all the kids, all the parents. This could not be done without you guys. You guys bringing the kids every Friday evening, and you trust us with your students, and we just want to thank you guys. And Darius Ricks, thank you. Miss Jenkins, thank you. You guys coming all the way over here and bringing the light to us, and the work you guys doing in Columbus and all over Africa as well. So thank you. And I'm asking all parents and students to stay for the next part of this program. So we have two programs. This is the Youth Empowerment. Now we have the Education Forum happening at 6 to 8. So please stay. We're gonna have a conversation about the education space and the education field and what's happening. And it's a great time for parents and students to be part of this conversation. Like I mentioned at the beginning, if you're not on the table, let me say it one more time. If you're not on the table, perfect. So today we're going to be in the table, and we're going to talk to our elected officials that make decisions in our kids' education. And it's important for you guys to listen, ask questions, because it's a process navigating through the education space. So it starts at 6 to 8. Please stay for the time being. If you haven't already, please check out the amazing posters these kids have been working on and take you on a journey from East Africa to West Africa, from North Africa to South Africa. So we'll have an intermission for the next 15 minutes, and then we'll zoom back at 6 o'clock. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Okay, we're testing Zoom. I assume that you can hear me. And if you could talk back to us from Paris. We are testing Zoom quality 1, 2, 3, checking Zoom, making sure we're getting through on the far end. He's not hearing me at all. What happened? We're going to try something different here.
You have like a monitor out.
Are you muted or is your computer unmuted?
It's let's see.
You're unmuted?
Yeah.
I can't see your computer.
I think it's unmuted because I'm just
You
trying
are?
to talk to him. Yeah.
Okay. So 1, 2, 3, testing audio check. Far end audio, Zoom audio test.
I need it. I have more people coming. Please.
Okay, Lori, I'm hearing
Can you hear me?
I'm hearing your audio, Lori. So you are good, but I am not getting audio from Professor Fulo. And Professor Fulo is not getting audio from me, but you're getting me, yes? And I'm getting you. So it's on his end. I think he needs to maybe dial back in. I don't think he can hear me. Professor Fulo, can you hear me? Professor Fulo, we're seeing if you can hear me. Okay. And Professor Fulo, if you can hear me, if you could just sign out and sign back in. We're not getting your audio, and you're not getting our audio. In your headset, maybe you can test your headset. It might be, and just try your computer audio and see if that might work. He muted you, but that's fine. He was talking and I could hear him, so that's a sign that it's working.
No, this is the phone.
Oh, is he on his telephone?
Yeah, we've been talking to each other.
He's not really responding.
Yeah, he said the image is very good. I said, did you hear Papa? He said, yeah, I can hear Papa.
Okay, that's not Papa, but it's me. But he can hear me. That's cool. Earlier. Okay. You want me to be Papa? I'll be Papa. Papa, get back here. Should I be Papa? You can be Big Papa.
Can you take his headset off?
Yes.
Okay. Now try this.
Okay, testing audio again to Paris. Can you hear me? 1, 2, 3, 4. Testing audio from Denver to Paris. I don't think you're hearing me, but if you can speak to me, I want to see if I can hear you. It's quarter-inch outs, yeah. I'm using the USB for my audio, so I'm getting all my in and outs here. So instead of taking those quarter-inch, I just take the headphones. I have control right here. I have control here as well. But I just did it that way. Just testing audio. 1, 2, 3. Testing audio.
It's not being sent through Snapchat, right? It's just being sent through.
No, it's going through 5 and 6 back into us. Can you hear me? You hear me plain and clear, yes? Hello, 1, 2. Testing audio. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we're good on our end. He's just not connecting on his end. So we're not sure why. Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
You can hear everything but your mic.
You can't hear me at all now. It's
But
his
hear
connection.
everything else.
He can't hear anything. I'm the only thing he would hear is my mic.
And is he going through an interface or is he just coming out of the
He's on his computer.
headphone jack?
Yeah. So it looks like he has a hardware.
He has a headphone jack turned up, which is a silly question to ask.
He can't hear us, so I can't ask him. Testing 1, 2, 3. Denver to Paris. Zoom meeting check. Zoom test.
Jambi yàlla yàlla lu ñaaw xaju ci na jambi yërëm jambi la yàlla yàlla yërëm jambi la morom jambi yàlla bi aimons-nous c'est la vérité aimons-nous vive la sincérité. Bay fal ñooy bag Cheikh Ibra Fall ko jekk ay góor añu de bay fal ñooy bag Cheikh Ibra Fall ko jekk ay góor ana lu waral ba mu loo ma bëgg yow yaay kan ba warul loo ma bëgg mama bëgg lañu bëggante mu dëgg àdduna amul solo ñëwal ñu bëggante mu dëgg na jambi yërëm jambi la yàlla yàlla yërëm jambi ndax morom jaamu yàlla bee aimons-nous c'est la vérité aimons-nous vive la sincérité. De bay fal ñooy bag Cheikh Ibra Fall ko jekk ay góor añu de bay fal ñooy bag Cheikh Ibra Fall ko jekk ay góor bëgg ma ma bëgg la yow kaay ñu bëggante
Wireless mic 3 1 2 3.
bañ a dundu dee yëgaleeg sunu sago yàlla lan la ñaan dundu dee bañ a dundu dee yëgaleeg sunu sago yàlla lan la ñaan dundu dee bañ a dundu dee yëgaleeg sunu sago yàlla lan la ñaan dundu dee bañ a dundu dee yëgaleeg sunu sago yàlla lan la ñaan Ajajayashun yashun town tam takun tajayashun jaja pamakun ajajayashun yashun tundu der banya tundu der yeggalek sun sago yàlla lan la ñaan dundu dee bañ a dundu dee yeggalek sun sago yàlla lan la ñaan yow mi sàkk bànn yaa dama rab ci ne ña naaw ak malaaka yow mi sàkk fépp sàkk lépp sàkk ñëpp te kenn sàkku la sàkku naa ci yow yërmande yàlla yow rekk yaaya yow idisal joobu wal hula wal jamali malikul mulku zul huda wal kamal dundu deel bañ a dundu deel yëggaleeg sun sago yàlla lan lay ñaan dundu dee bañ a dundu dee yëggaleeg sunu sago yàlla lan lay ñaan yeggalek sun sago yàlla lan la ñaan dundu dee bañ a dundu dee yeggalek sun sago yàlla lan la ñaan alhamdulillahi ya rabbi wala usriku bihi ahada Sénégal kenn gënu leen da di rek réew mu nekk fam lu leen di tere doon yàlla li lay tere doon yàlla moo lay dugal aljana à méditer yes laa indi xar baax du moroomu xërëm yàlla yàllaay ki sàkk sa sëriñ farlu ba baax a gën xërëm ba baax dund gu baax a gën këmax këmax te ñaax sara sara xar baax du moroomu xërëm yàlla yàllaay ki sàkk sa sëriñ farlu ba baax a gën xërëm ba baax dund gu baax a gën këmax këmax te ñaax sara sara ki gën ci ñun mooy ki def te yàlla tax ki gën ci ñun mooy ki wax te yàlla tax ki gën ci ñun mooy ki jàpp te yàlla tax xar baax du noonu xaram yàlla gi sàkk sa sëriñ farlu ba baax a gën xaram ba baax dundu gu baax a gën këmax King of Buckles and Gum Sana. King of Buckles and Dead Sana. Number Mantle, no, they book alone. No, did it. Parlo babagan kharam babag babagan kama kama tanya sala sala arba arba waya chaka yalla kisa nulanya padigwa parlo babagan kharam babagan kama kama tanya
Yep, perfect. Perfect.
Mic one, mic one.
Mic check, perfect. All right, we're about to get started here in 5 minutes. If you could get seated at the table where the discussions are gonna happen for the round table. The topic is on the table. So make sure you are moving towards the table you're gonna be part of. Also, there's light snacks available for the adults. Kids, please stay where you guys already ate during the youth empowerment celebration. So adults, there's light snacks and light food on the side here to my left. So please, just appetizers, thank you.
Looks like we got Paris.
Comme tu aimes ta âme, tu ne peux te permettre la traiter manière. Quand tu aimes une femme comme tu aimes ta life, tu ne peux te permettre la traiter bizarre. Et quand tu sais qu'elles aiment se faire aimer, c'est qu'elles t'ont aimé qu'ils arrivent à aimer sans gêne. Ça ne peut être gênant pour toi de te faire aimer. Si tu connais la valeur d'aimer une femme, car la femme est un rayon de soleil qui me brûle le corps sous le soleil d'Afrique. Autant qu'elles sont, moi je les aime toutes, voilà. La femme est une des merveilles. Autant qu'elles sont, moi je les aime toutes, voilà. La femme est une des merveilles. Manatuma coming dama 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 manatuma manago you're the one man of my life, one man of my life. Dama 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 manatuma coming dama 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 manatuma manago yes I'm inside your bar, one man of my life. La valeur de l'amour et des tirs d'or. La valeur de l'amour, ce n'est pas le corps. La valeur de l'amour, ce n'est point le corps. La valeur de l'amour, ce n'est point de l'or. J'aime toutes les femmes avec lesquelles j'étais. J'aime toutes les femmes avec lesquelles je suis. J'aime toutes les femmes avec lesquelles je serai. Quelle que soit la valeur de la femme, pour moi la femme est un rayon de soleil qui me brûle le corps.
2, 3,
Nous on ne fait que
2,
perdre du
3,
On ne fait que bouffer du vin. Y a plus rien à faire, c'est clair entre nous. S'il est vrai que tu peux bouger sans moi, t'as qu'à gérer ta life et laisse-moi m'en aller.
Okay, like now.
De toi, bien. Est-ce qu'il y a femme là-haut? Tu ne me laisses pas le choix de vivre ma life comme je l'entends vivre avec toi, baby, à quoi? Est-ce qu'il y a femme là-haut? Oh, la vie est un grand n'importe quoi. Je vous la laisse, même avec ses fesses. Oh, la vie est un grand n'importe quoi. Quand le bas blesse, y a plus rien qui reste. Je suis déçu. Déçu. Je suis déçu. Déçu. Je ne suis pas ton cacao. Genre le mec a toujours mes carottes. Après tout, c'est pas qu'une histoire de pension.
Well, hello. So we're gonna be starting in a minute. So for now, I'm asking everybody to go get some snacks, get yourself food, get yourself some water, and we'll start in a minute. All right? So I'm a preschool teacher, so I'm gonna ask you all to take your seats before we get started. So I'm gonna raise my hand. If you can see my hand, it's time to take your seat. If you can see my hand, it's time for you to take your seat. We're gonna have Papa Dia in 30 seconds to kick us start, all right? Thank you. Alrighty, well, welcome to the Educational Forum. And to help us kickstart, I'm gonna ask Papa to come up and kickstart the program.
Thank you, Tatenda. Good evening, everybody. Come on, we can do better than that. Good evening, everybody. I am very thrilled and excited about what's about to take place. We just finished highlighting our children, and those of us that had the opportunity to witness what the kids did, we feel very comfortable when it comes to the future of our community. Now, I want to share with you a little bit of background about the African Leadership Group. And one of the pillars that we focus on that is extremely important. Some of you, maybe this is the first time you're walking into a space of the African Leadership Group. And I always like to say, don't let the name fool you. Even though it's the African Leadership Group, but it's focused around people, it's focused around human beings, and we are about everything that contributes to the advancement of any human being. That's what we are as an organization. But here is the reality. The reality is we are immigrants that came from Africa. It means a lot of things. The first thing that it means, we come to this great nation, but we face a lot of challenges. One of them is the language barrier, as you can tell with my accent. One of them is the culture barrier. And another one is being able to identify the resources that exist for us to navigate the system so we can be successful. Especially when it comes to education. Especially when it comes to the education of our children. I'm a believer that not one single organization could be successful if they don't make education a priority. And how do you make education a priority? You cannot be successful in something you don't understand. You cannot be successful in something that you don't know how to navigate the resources. We know when it comes to the education of the United States, it's a very complicated system. When it comes to having to pick between a charter school, a public school, a private school, we don't know what it means. When it comes to how do I enroll my kids, when it comes to what's the difference between a zip code 80247 and a zip code 80018, when it comes to district, when it comes to school board of directors, when it comes to curriculum, when it comes to after-school program, when it comes to how our kids are impacted by mental health, it's very complicated. As an organization also, we identify for the longest time, people have a tendency to identify our problem, identify the solution, and come and tell us this is what you need to do. As an organization, we say no. I'm a believer that if you are a smart person in Senegal, a smart person in Nigeria, in Zimbabwe, wherever you go, you are still a smart person. We are bright, we're smart, and we can solve our issue. But we believe in collaboration. We believe in being part of the conversation. And today, tonight, that's what we're going to do and have the opportunity to do so. We have amazing panelists. And all they've been wanting all this time is to have an opportunity to hear from us. My ask of you, wherever you are sitting, just know you are not there to represent yourself. Whatever you are about to say is not something that's just going to impact you. Or whatever idea you might have that you're going to hold on to it and you don't want to share it, just know that it's something you are going to be holding from our community. I invite you to speak up. I invite you to participate, because anything we're going to leave on the table, that's something that we might regret later. We have different topics at your table. We want you to think about it. How are you negatively impacted by those issues? We know that mental health is a real thing, but we don't talk about it enough. We know that transportation is an issue. We don't talk about it enough. We know curriculum is a real thing. We have kids falling behind because lack of understanding and adapting in the new curriculum. Today, we have the opportunity to address and solve this issue. I'm very grateful, and I like to end with this. People have a tendency to give me credit for all these things that's happening. I'm not the one doing the work. There's a lot of amazing group of people that's behind the scene that you don't get to see, that are working tirelessly day in and day out to have the impact we need in our community. We have the Parent Engagement Committee. Please, if you are part of the Parent Engagement Committee, I need you just to stand up so people can recognize you. I know Bilo is here. George, please, Bilo, stand up. Tatenda is here. anybody that's part of the parent engagement. This is the people that behind the scene that are doing all the work. We want to thank you for your dedication to the community. We want to thank you and congratulate you for all the work that you are doing. So, I want to officially kick off this brainstorming session. I want to officially kick off this conversation. Let's learn from each other. Let's make sure we leave tonight here by the possibility to impact the future of our community, which is the future of our children. Thank you so much. Tatenda, I'll turn it back to you.
Thank you so much, Papa. Just to add on to what you just said, I think you are the main man. You have given us permission to show our Black excellence, to show our African wisdom. So it's all you, in as much as we are driving this, but you have given us permission. So giving us permission is something that you have done to us. So thank you. So I need to introduce myself, right? My name is Tatenda Blessing Muchiriri. I'm from Zimbabwe originally. I've been in the United States for about 7 years by the way of China. And I work in DPS. I'm a new EC teacher at Stedman, and I'm also helping open a micro school here in Aurora, a Montessori micro school for Black and brown kids, so that they can also have access to Montessori education. And I've been part of LGL for about 2 years, and I want to speak a little bit to my experience with African Leadership Group. One thing that I think Papa kind of mentioned in a way of what we come with in the United States is our identity, our different accents, right? But one thing that I've experienced through African Leadership Group is being able to show up who you are, despite the way you sound. Because one thing that I know is we have more than 4 billion people, and not more than 1 billion people even speak American English. So English comes in different ways. So in as much as we have those accents, we bring that wisdom with us. We bring that power to be able to communicate in other languages that we were not born with, that we had to work hard, right, to be able to communicate. So that's really one thing as a teacher and as an African person that I had the permission to be with African Leadership Group, that come as you are and bring what you have and show that to the world. So I'm so excited to be here and to really engage you all in our educational forum. But before that, I really want to introduce to you our amazing first speaker, Moro Folami. So if you can help me welcome Moro Folami, a sophomore at Overland High School in Aurora. She is originally from Nigeria, but has been in the country for about 3.5 years. And Moro is going to share with us all her educational experience the past year.
Thank you. Hello, I'm Moro, and I'm very honored to have this opportunity to be able to speak to you all about the experiences that students have concerning the COVID-19 experience. Now, the COVID-19 pandemic has had a huge effect on all students, but today the 3 I would like to focus on is the effect it had on their social life, on their mental health, and on their academic excellence. Did you know that the average anxiety level for a teenager in 2020 is the same as that of a psychiatric patient in the 1950s? Research conducted by the CDC tells us that approximately 4.4 million students have diagnosed anxiety. That's diagnosed. Imagine the tens of thousands, possibly hundreds, that go undiagnosed. School is a place for memories, a place for fun, a place of learning. But most importantly, school is a place to make friends, friends that you have with you for life, friends that impact your decisions forever. A place you meet your best friend, have your first love, get your first award, get your first medal, multiple things that help boost who you are and create who you are. High school is a different experience. High school is a place for drama, a place for friends, fake friends, a place of fights, and memories that are never to be forgotten. But for millions of students, the chance to experience this has been taken away from them by something that they have absolutely no control over: the COVID-19 pandemic. School is a primary place for students to learn social skills and basic life skills that will be critical for their future and for their success. One of the main changes to the school system this year, especially in America, has been the change from going on a 5-day school in-person way where you get one-on-one physical contact with your teacher to an online, always changing online appearance. You don't know what it's gonna be every week, and that is very damaging to your mental health, not knowing what is coming up next. I assume most of you here don't understand what it's like to have online school, so what better way to explain to you than from the words of 9th grade students who just made the transition from middle school to high school. What was supposed to be a core memory for them to look back and think about and be happy about that is now overshadowed by the act of waking up to a computer screen every single day, no one to talk to, just you, like a robot on a computer. A friend in biology said, it was hard waking up to a computer and no one to talk to. A friend in Texas from a totally different learning environment said, online learning was bad because I didn't learn anything, because I could search up all the answers and no one would know. While parents watch their kids sink into depression and further isolate themselves, they sit back and watch helplessly, because let's be honest, mental health isn't seen as important as physical health. While some seek help, the vast majority of parents are still helpless, with no idea on how to help their kids and how to make them further in their social life. A study by Brown University says the coronavirus will undo months of academic gain. Now, the normal way is students go to school, they learn, they go on summer break, they lose a few weeks of learning, forget a couple things, that's normal. But that is different from pandemic learning loss. When you go months and weeks without school, without in-person, research shows that up to 3 to 8 million kids will lose 3 months of learning in English and 5 months in maths. That's about half of the school year lost just because we went online. Some students have been able to participate fully in person, some fully online, some couldn't even do it due to lack of access to internet, lack of devices, slow internet, and many more cases that we saw. Now this proposes a new problem to American teachers. How do they help students recover from the loss that happened over the pandemic? How are they gonna get students back on track to other countries, how are they gonna get them back on track, basically? Because it's not easy to cram 6 months worth of learning in 2 months. That is very hard. So now, parents, I call on you to please, please check on your students, check on your kids, check on everybody. You don't know how they're doing. We're always trying our best to fulfill our promises, to fulfill what you have in mind for us. We're trying our best to make you proud of us, but please know that our best has been watered down. We don't know what we're doing. We are stuck. We are constantly trying to get back on track, constantly trying to regain the pride that you once had in us, but it's hard. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mauro, for that powerful speech about your experience last year during COVID and what you went through and what families and teachers and district went through during COVID. We're gonna have a little change to our program. We're gonna welcome our keynote speaker all the way from France via Zoom, Professor Fulo Basse. He really wanted to be in person, but we are still in a pandemic, right? So we're gonna have him via Zoom. I'm gonna say a little bit about Professor Fulo Basse as they try to bring him on Zoom. So he was born in Kouda, Senegal, and he studied in multiple institutes and graduated in several areas in France since he was 17 years old. And he has helped found different organizations in Africa and in Europe. Welcome, Professor.
Allô?
Mute me.
am there.
Yes, Professor Sepres.
Okay, good evening, everybody. Thank you very much for this introduction. Thank you, Papa, for his extraordinary leadership, outstanding leadership. Thank you, the team of ALG, for this good job. I don't know if you see the documents. It seems for me I don't get you. I'm not hearing you.
Professor, we can hear you.
Can I go ahead?
Yes, we can hear you. Please go ahead.
Okay. Well, I'm pleased to be with you today to share with you my view regarding these topics, which is very important for me. And I cannot see the slide on the screen. Okay, can I go ahead?
Yes, if you can see the slide, we're good to go.
Yeah, yes, yes. Well, I'm very happy to be with you today to share with you what I am thinking, what I have been thinking about education, which is my engagement, my mission as a professional. So I want to share with you the deep of my thoughts about education. For me, the best way to consider education is to consider it as a relay race. A relay race regarding 3 levels of responsibility. Can you go ahead with next? Yeah, 3 levels of responsibilities, which is the responsibility of the system, institutions, schools, and authorities responsible of we as parents, we as adults, responsibility as well for the children, the students, for whom we are working very hard to make sure they succeed. Now, what are we talking about? I will share with you with these thoughtful 4 points. The first one is to look around the world and to see what is the state of art. Next, please. To see how important is the education for our democracy, for our human society, and for our economies. Go ahead. To see that, I would like to refer to the history and to see some philosophical men, what they thought about that. According to Victor Hugo, he who opens a school doors closes a prison. For Immanuel Kant, the human being can be a human being only through education. Next, please. If you go to Africa, one of the best men we can refer to is Nelson Mandela, who says, education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. In this changing world, these references are very important for us. Now, what is the state of the art of education in the world? For me, the education is like a boat. Go ahead, you can see the boat. The boat which is definitely in the situation of instability. And this, due to crisis after crisis, now we are looking the ways to move forward and to find solutions so that we can help our children to find their way to go out of this situation. Go ahead, please. The point is, for me, to find a solution in these issues, challenges and opportunities. If you look around the world, the information you can see wars, ecological problems, people moving from countries to countries, electricity problems, while the world is full with some opportunities, some technological opportunities, population opportunities, youth opportunities. This is the way we can see things today and how we can solve this education within these issues, challenges, and opportunities. Go next, please. That's why I think that we can refer to one of the most important educational innovator who was Maria Montessori. She told us that we let us not raise our children for the today's world. This world will not exist when they grow up, and nothing allows us to know today what will be their world. So the best way to teach today our children is to help them to adapt, to help them to learn by doing and doing by learning. This is the best way today to help children to understand and to make sure they will be able to adapt to themselves. So the child is not to be considered as a vessel that is to be filled, but a spring that is to be allowed to flow. This is, for me, one of the best reference we can have. Next, please. So today, in this moving world, in this changing world, we can consider the education as a triangle in which the vertices can be represented by the student, the teacher, and the knowledge. For the student, the key elements to help is the role of the teacher and the place of educational material and the work, environmental and learning. We must help the student to develop the knowledge of his own way to learn. learning way by himself to adapt himself to be able to move forward. Next, please. One of the most important things for us to take into consideration is the acceleration of the climate change, which is making the fragility of our planet more and more tangible, but persistent and inequalities, social divides, and political extremism are pushing many societies into crisis. In this world, you can also take into account what is moving forward in terms of technological ways, in which you can have artificial intelligence and biotechnology have great potential, but they also raise serious ethical and governance concerns for us. Those concerns are all the more important when one observes the unequal contribution and innovation and technological and evolution, and in terms of their contribution to human prosperity. Thank you. Knowledge and learning are the richest renewable resources available for us to meet the challenges and open up new avenues. However, education does not only adapt to the changing world. Education must transform the world. This is our responsibility as adults today. Now, I have some suggestions for us. I would like to suggest to us to do the following things. Let us give more meaning to action. That means to transform mission to vision. The second suggestion is to create more humanistic links from rules to values. The third one is we should strengthen accountability, which means to move from objective to commitments. The fourth one is we should offer more autonomy to our children, which means to move from activity to results. We should free the expression from persuasion to statements. We should help children to become more agile, which means from mechanical to organic. We should support them daring, which should be from mastery to experimentation. We should help them to reveal, to promote potential, which means to move from hard skills to soft skills. We should help them to mobilize collective intelligence, which should be to move from expert to crow. 10th one is we should support the teams. We should help them to support the team, which should be to move from supervision to facilitation. Now I would like to share with you some references in the world. In Africa, we have a country, Botswana, where we can find the importance of leadership. Leadership helped this country, which was independent in 66. From 66 to today, they have programs that help children today to basically put the human being in their system of education, which means they help to boost the children perceptual, physical, mental, linguistic, emotional, and social and intellectual development. These are, for me, one of the countries where we can refer to. In the European North European countries, you can find also such a kind of educational system where the most important thing to do is to put in central the efficient and healthy, in which the well-being of the children is the preoccupation number one. To conclude, you getting me? Hello? Yeah, to conclude, I would like to share with you some thought from this, our predecessor follows as follows. Antoine de Saint-Exupéry, who taught us that as for the future, it is not a question of foreseeing it, but of making it possible. This is our role today as adults. Another one is Albert Einstein, who said, to give the example is not the main way to influence others, but it is the only way to do so. The last one is Dr. Reverend Martin Luther King, who says, if you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then work. If you can't work, then crawl. But whatever you do, you have to move, you have to keep moving forward. Thank you very much. I stand behind you and have questions if I can. First of all, I want to say that I'm deeply sorry for my English, which is definitely bad, but for next year, I will definitely try to improve it.
Thank you so much, Professor, and don't be sorry. Hello. Thank you so much, Professor, for that powerful keynote speech. And I would say, don't be sorry about your English. We could hear you very, very well. Thank you. And I just want to recollect some of the stuff that Professor shared about how to innovate our education system, because I truly believe that as parents, as the community, we've kind of outsourced our children. Right, so I think what Professor is saying, we need to reclaim our children, meaning we need to collaborate with the school, with the district. As parents, we need to co-create with our teachers. We need to center our children. They need to have autonomy. They need to be in charge of what they have to learn, how they are learning it, and how they want to learn. So thank you so much, Professor, for that powerful, powerful, practical ways to innovate our education and system that governs our education. Now, let's get to business. The reason why we're here, right, standing with our children and parents for better education, we are going to move into our round tables. So we have about 8 tables, and I hope you are sitting where you want or where you should be sitting. This is how it's going to work. So we are going to have different topics of discussion, and you will have 30 minutes on your table to discuss, and each table has a facilitator and hopefully somebody taking notes, because we're going to share back after that. Food. Okay, I'm being reminded that you might need to eat before we move into this. So as you join your tables and discuss. You can also be eating as you are engaging yourself in different tables. And we have to report back after your session in your tables. And we'll have question and answer segment where we have our distinguished guest come sit forward, and we'll have an opportunity to ask questions, and I'll introduce that later. So these are our tables that we have today. We have school choice, where Papa Dia is. Yes, we have curriculum. We have career advancement. We have learning loss and COVID-19. We have mental health. We have school funding and board election. We have before and after school program. And we have English language acquisition. English language, where Dr. Ann is, thank you. Okay, so we're gonna have 30 minutes to discuss and just delve into those topics and ask questions, share your experiences, learn, and we have one person come forward after this and share with us all.
Sénégal kenn gënu leen da di rek réew mu nekk fam lu leen di tere doon yàlla li lay tere doon yàlla moo lay dugal aljana à méditer. Yes, lie indeed. Xar baax du moroomu xërëm.
Soko deglo mu wan la sanu nawle du kom du dole deret fini la ngam ak deret ki nga bokkal sa diine sa nawle la ki nga bokkal sa ngam sa nawle la ki nga bokkal sa deret sa nawle
tu aimes ta âme, tu ne peux te permettre la traiter manière. Quand tu aimes une femme comme tu aimes ta life, tu ne peux te permettre la traiter bizarre. Et quand tu sais qu'elles aiment se faire aimer, c'est qu'étant aimé qu'ils arrivent à aimer sans aide. Ça ne peut être gênant pour toi de te faire aimer. Si tu connais la valeur d'aimer une femme, car la femme est un rayon de soleil qui me brûle le corps sous le soleil d'Afrique. Autant qu'elles sont, moi je les aime toutes. Voilà, la femme est une des merveilles. Autant qu'elles sont, moi je les aime toutes. Voilà, la femme est une des merveilles.
Hello. We have 10 minutes left. So we'll be back at 7:25. Well, hello, hello. We have 2 minutes to wrap up and we'll be coming back.
Wireless mic 222.
So you're still muted.
Alrighty, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Alrighty, if you can see my hand, it's time to be here. Eyes on me. Alrighty. Well, thank you so much for those rich discussions and engaging yourself in your different round tables. I had the opportunity to kind of walk around and I had some good conversations, some big questions, and thank you for sharing all that with folks around your table. Alrighty, so this is what we're gonna do. So before we can hear back from whoever is going to represent your table, I would want you to help me welcome our distinguished guest today that we have. We have different valued people around Denver and Aurora who are doing the best in education, the movers and the shakers. And I would want you to help me welcome to the stage our first panelist, Andrea Wright, who is the Chief Academic Officer with the APS District. Yeah, thank you. And we have Alex Marrero, the new DPS Superintendent. Welcome. I feel special that we have the new DPS Superintendent with us today, Dr. Alex. Thank you so much. Welcome. We have the President of NAACP Aurora Branch, Omar Montgomery. And we have Dr. Carrie Olson. She's the president of DPS Board. Welcome.
Hello, you can hear me?
And we have Juliet Anosika, our parent representation. Give you my back. Do
you want me to sit over here?
No, that's fine. I'm going to be here. We'll wait for Juliet. So again, thank you so much for engaging yourselves in this rich discussion that you had in your different tables. So this is what we're going to do next. We are going to have someone from your table kind of give feedback on what you guys discussed, and we have our panelists have the opportunity to listen, and they're going to take questions after we have had people share what you all discussed in your different tables. So we have about 9 tables. I think we have 2 school choices, right, or mental health? Okay, awesome. Alrighty, so who's going to be first? Who's going to go first? Dr. Ann's table. I know Dr. Ann, so I'm going to pick you first. Your table, English language accusation.
Thank you so
language acquisition, or ELD. But I am going to have Rokia Sidibe.
Bonsoir tout le monde. Moi, je préfère m'exprimer en français
I'll prefer speaking in French
parce que je comprends un peu d'anglais.
because I am still learning English.
Moi, je suis du Mali.
I am coming from Mali.
J'ai fait 4 ans en Amérique ici.
I have 4 years in the U.S.
Avant, j'ai vécu en Italie 18 ans.
and I live in Italy for 18 years.
Maintenant, je suis venue ici pour vivre avec mes enfants, pour aller à l'école.
And I moved here to give a better education to my kids.
Dans cette expérience, je vois que je comprends pas l'anglais.
In my experience, and the fact that I don't understand very well English,
Mais petit à petit, je me suis débrouillée pour mettre mes enfants à l'école, pour essayer qu'elles-mêmes, elles comprennent l'anglais aussi.
but little by little, I try to force myself and make sure that my daughters go to school and speak English better.
Maintenant, tous mes enfants, ils parlent déjà 3 langues.
And now all of my kids speak 3 languages.
Moi, au début, je ne parle même pas Spanish. C'est avec le travail, j'ai appris ça aussi. Maintenant, moi-même, je comprends 5 langues.
At first, I wasn't even speaking Spanish, but with the nature of my work, I learned Spanish at work, and now I speak 5 languages.
Donc, dans cette solution, changer de pays, ça a été beaucoup important pour moi.
And because I wanted a better education for my kids, changing country was important for me.
Donc, ce soir, on s'est retrouvés pour parler, chacun de nous, comment on a managé l'histoire pour vivre en non parlant l'anglais.
And at our table, we all share our experience, what it is to be a non-English speaker and navigating the education system.
Et je me sens très bien soulevée.
And I feel so good now.
Au début, c'était très difficile pour moi.
At first, just like everyone at my table, it was hard navigating.
Donc, eux-mêmes, ils m'ont encouragé pour l'anglais, que je parle bien l'anglais. Je suis contente pour ça aussi.
But I got some help, and I got a lot of encouragement from my community, and I am thankful for that.
Et comme les maîtresses, ils m'ont traité, il y en a qui m'ont traité bien, il y en a qui m'ont traité mal, parce que quand ils ne comprennent pas, c'est normal.
And as far as educators that I came across is concerned, there are some that were welcoming, there were some that were not so welcoming just because of the language barrier.
Et puis, sur mon parcours, j'ai eu à connaître des maîtresses très encourageantes.
At the same time, I did meet some educators that were really encouraging me.
Comme celle-là, elle disait qu'elle aussi, pour comprendre les enfants qui ne parlent pas l'anglais, c'est difficile de les éduquer.
Just like our friend here, an educator at our table, thank you, Yanish, was sharing her experience as an educator and educating kids that are from English learning families.
Dans tout ce parcours-là, il faut seulement avoir du patience,
And this is one thing we all talked about and learned here. As English learners, parents, you just have to be patient.
Sur ça, je remercie tout le monde.
And I thank everyone.
Thank you so much. I'm also reminded that we still have Professor Fulo Basse on Zoom. So if you have questions, he's still available all the way from Paris, France. We're going to move to Butterfly on curriculum.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much. My name is Butterfly White, and I'm going to sum up the points that our table discussed. We had students share, as well as adults, people who work in the field, people who experience the field on a daily basis. The students said that basically, whether it's online or in class, they feel no real-world connection into what is being taught. Not only that, none of it seems to translate into applicable life. They're not being prepared to participate as productive members of society, in a nutshell. The European world view is how our whole educational system is set up. It's extremely myopic, and they don't feel like there's anyone there that looks like them, that speaks for them, that can speak to them, or that represents them. We talked about spaces filled with white people and how that gives you a sense of shame when you're the only one in a room. We also spoke about the mentality behind the white supremacist concept that we are minorities, which means minor. So when you put a child in a space full of people that don't look like them, it automatically gives them a mental and physiological disadvantage. So somehow we need to overcome that by hiring people that look like us in all of those spaces from the top to the bottom. The teachers expressed that they're frustrated when an immigrant student shows up in their classroom because they have not been properly prepared. An African American teacher at our table said she was upset when African students came to her classroom because she couldn't relate and she didn't know what to do. That is one of the reasons why I'm in this room, to be a bridge between African Americans and Africans, and you can ask Papa about that. She did figure it out. She did. Same thing, students feel like they're dismissed because you do have an accent, you speak a different language. Sophomore, going to school. She didn't have school her freshman year. She's a sophomore, and she's never been to the campus, and school starts in 2 weeks. So a buddy system so that you can have someone to guide you through the campus, someone that has been there, a junior or senior. We had that when we were growing up. When I was coming out of middle school, there was a high school student that was my buddy my first year. So getting back to that, we talked about the village. We talked about how we are the village and that we cannot look outside for solutions to our problems. And so it starts at home. That was beautiful. And after home, it starts with the village. ALG is the village. We had a student say that they feel like they get a better education in the hallways of ALG than they do in the class. That speaks volumes. And a couple more. They need multicultural support. Magnificent Omar is gonna connect all of the groups that support multicultural efforts on the NAAC website. I'm happy to make sure I help him do that. And this is mine and this is last. It is not English as a second language. English is the second language. Butterfly White, je m'appelle Papillon, Papillon Blanco, Menyazavut Babishka, Idamam Nabi Hwin Nabi. I don't know how many languages I can speak because this is that important. English is a language that is comprised of every other language on earth. So anytime you hear someone say, speak English only, here we speak English. There is no English without the rest of us.
Thank you, thank you. Can I respond a little bit? I'm over here.
Sure. Yes, Dr. Alex.
Thank you. Thank you, team. I was part of that curriculum and instruction conversation. And I want to highlight all and say sorry, because he was getting a lot of the direct questions. You guys had no idea what I was representing, didn't you? But I just want to thank you all for allowing me to hear intimately from the scholars that you brought over and from those parents and community members. So if I can embarrass the lovely lady with the captivating smile, mother of Rel, you know I'm talking about you, right there, if you can stand up for a second. What she shared was that her son, because she was doing mommy duty, teacher duty, and everything else that our parents were doing during COVID, that she was able to see him, thank you, Mama, you can sit down now, that her son came to the realization that what he was being exposed to via the curriculum and instruction, and I'm putting that loosely in air quotes, instruction, the way you described it, was not resonating with him, right? If I can quote it correctly, we were learning about dead white men. So my response was, what was different before the pandemic? And I know the answer is nothing. It's just the fact that it took an emergency, a worldwide crisis, to put it and put a highlight on the fact that our curriculum is not addressing what our students can represent. And a couple of seats next to her, that African American teacher who was upset at leadership for not providing you the resources to make sure that we can meet the needs of those students, right? So it's a system issue, and it shouldn't take a tragedy, a worldwide pandemic, for us to realize what's been the case for eons and eons. So thank you, group. And in terms of folks who look like us, if time permits, I'll share a story on how I know that although you can have someone who's culturally responsive, and yes, that person is as valuable as that mom who speaks 5 languages, there's something to when you can relate and you look at somebody saying, well, that looks like that person that I just woke up to. No one can tell me otherwise, because I lived it on both ends, as someone who was inspired and someone who has inspired unbeknownst to what I was doing, just simply going to work. So thank you, team.
Thank you so much, Dr. Alex. We're going to hear one more from mental health. I'm going to give you just a minute, if not 45 seconds. So below, can you do 45 seconds of mental health?
We're going to do this one over here.
Okay.
Hello, my name is Fama Dia, and I'm originally from Senegal, but I was born and raised here. And some of the things we talked about at our table was about how in the education system, how we as African immigrants struggle to talk about our mental health with our counselors and our teachers, because they usually don't understand how we struggle coming from having to switch our culture from home and then coming to school and not being able to talk about the things that we go through at home and not being able to embrace our culture the way we would like to at school. So, thank you.
Uzi, I'm going to give Bilo 45 seconds because I'd already called her name. So she sure can do 45 seconds of mental health.
Good evening, everybody. So what we discussed on our table was how the joy of school was taken away from the kids, which drove bigly the mental health issues. So the kids talked about, because we have a panel of students and parents also, and the parents injected by saying that the generation gap between the parents and the children how do I call it, play a huge role in the mental health of the kids also. So that's my 45 seconds. We've talked a lot more than that, but yeah.
Thank you so much. So we're going to attend to our panelists right here. And I have an opening question for you all as you introduce yourself. What have you heard when you were in different tables? And what should we expect this coming school year? And maybe a third question in that would be, what's giving you hope
I'm going to have to take this off so I can actually communicate. Yeah, thanks for having me, and I am just honored to be able to sit here and listen to not only parents, but students and practitioners and community members who all have the best interests of their children at heart, right? When you get into a space where you know that the focus is children, that's the right place to be. And for us, we talk specifically around board elections. And so as someone who works alongside a board, works with the board, I found it interesting to be asked over my experiences, what's the difference between what I was accustomed to seeing in a different space and what I see here in Aurora. And so I can sum it up so that everyone else has an opportunity to speak in two different ways. One, in Fulton County, Georgia, where I spent several years as a leader, the community said to us, I'll shift it. In Aurora first, the community trusts the district to do its job. The community says to us, we trust you to do it. In Fulton County, Georgia, the community says, we trust that you will do it. And if you don't, we'll find someone to do it for you. That is a different level of accountability, right? And whatever it is that we're not doing, the community said, here's what it is, and here's what we expect you to do. And in an environment where the community trusts us to do it, we need to have that same list so that we can say, we're missing the mark here, 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 and here. And it's our responsibility to get after that and close those gaps. That to me stuck out because I hadn't thought about it as much being here for 8 years, but that is a critical difference when someone says, oh, I trust you, versus, no, I trust that you will, right? That means that they're watching the moves that you make. And there's nothing wrong with that, absolutely not. What gives me hope is we have an opportunity to do some things different. I've taken a look at lots of districts and all the ways that they're using ESSER dollars, and I know everybody heard about the ESSER funding that districts are getting. But I want you to challenge Aurora Public Schools to see, are you reinventing opportunities for children, or are you reinvesting in what we used to do anyway? It's okay to challenge us on that, because I'm doing the same thing. If we're spending all of our time reinvesting in the past, we're not reinventing the future for our children. And that's where we need to be, reinventing the future for our children. And that, if you can join us in that, gives me hope.
Thank you. Thank you. Well said, Mr. Wright. I'm going to try my best to stick to what we discussed and not go off on a tangent. It's always a relevant tangent when we're talking education, so forgive me in advance. But what to follow up and continue with the whole concept of trust. Conversation in the curriculum and instruction table was around trust, really cultural trust. Those African boys who showed up said, what again? They said, good morning, professor. No different in my culture as well. Mom would never question el profesor o la profesora. So the trust is embedded in many of us. And I see some folks nodding. Shame on us and the system if we can't deliver on that promise. Shame on us as a system that we have a youngster in the most critical, arguably the most critical year of transition, going from 8th grade to 9th grade. And 9th grade has been a parking lot in my experience, and students who just stay there and never leave. That she doesn't know what the inside of her high school looks like. What are we going to do? Pandemic was here for all of us, but it's not going to stop or prevent us from opening up our doors, literally and figuratively. So those are two concepts that we touched on. Now that I have the mic, I'm going to share my story. Papa get upset at me later, all right? So here is going back to making sure that you have someone who represents or looks like you. And I'm gonna tell a story that was told to me, and it was told to me as a true story. So I'm telling it to you as a true story. Don't you dare tell me that this is made up, right? Because it's gonna ruin exactly how I use this as motivation. It has nothing to do with education. It's a politic-related story. I hope that's okay and allowed here. Yes? Thumbs up? So Joe Philadelphia. Joe Philadelphia is a young boy out of, I'm gonna say the East Coast, whose father worked in the White House. And evidently, once you have a successful tenure in the White House, no matter the capacity, once you retire, you have the opportunity to engage in a dinner and a meet and greet with the President of the United States. You, as the employee, and your intimate family. True story. So Joe Philadelphia's father worked, I forget in what capacity, but nothing in terms of executive, but he was an honorable member who gave his service to Washington, D.C., so he had the opportunity to invite his entire family, 2 young boys, his wife, and himself, to meet President Obama. And everybody gets to engage the president. You get to ask him a formal question. Here comes his oldest son and asks a question he's very much into, or was into, fighter jet planes. So he asked the question, I'm making this up. What happened to the F-5 LMNOP fighter jet? It was my favorite. I have it in my home. Why did you cancel it, Mr. President? Very direct. And Barack was not expecting that. So he said, well, young man, you know how Barack's are. Go. And he goes, I had to make a tough decision because it was too expensive, and we have another one that is more effective and does a whole lot more. Sit tight, you'll be very much impressed. So being as smooth as he is, he gave him the answer, and the young man said, okay, I'll take that. Then here comes little Joe Philadelphia. Little Joe Philadelphia, I'm gonna stand up. Papa, get mad at me later. Joe Philadelphia, as little as he was, steps, and he was intimidated, you know, Barack is the presence. So he takes a micro step up and he says, can I touch your hair? So if you didn't hear it, it's because that's how low and how whispered it was. And Barack, intimidating Barack, said, excuse me, young man, what did he say? Then he got a little closer, he said, can I touch your hair? So some of you heard it, Barack didn't hear it then, and then before he got all Barack Obama on him, he said, young man, what did you say? And Joe Philadelphia said, can I touch your hair? So it's cute, adorable, but for that young boy, he wanted to touch his hair because he wanted to know if that man who was the President of the United States had any similarities to him. And what Barack did, he bent over, your man touched his hair, and that was the best way for that young man to be animated. So why does that make sense? Because no one can tell me, if you don't have someone like Mr. Wright, Dr. Marrero, and so forth, and you all who are speaking all those languages, that you're not going to inspire someone who looks just like you. Because it happened to little Joe Philadelphia, and I know it happens day in and day out as we walk those hallways, or you all, and the Papa Diaz in training in the communities in Aurora and Denver. So no one can tell me otherwise, because it happened to Joe Philadelphia, and it happened to little Alexi as well. So thank you, team, for allowing me to share that story.
First of all, I just want to say, you know, you and I were at the same table, so I feel like I'll be repeating some of the things that were shared. As an educator, it's difficult for me to just go from a community perspective without the academic perspective. And when I was listening to what was going on with some of the parents and some of the students, because the second part of that question was about hope. Am I correct? So I'm gonna start with hope and then end with some other stuff real quickly. Where did hope come from? It came from yesterday when I was at a scholarship dinner, where a young man that looked like us, that graduated from our schools, who graduated only with his BA, is now accepted into NYU PhD joint master's program. See, that's my hope. My hope is the scholarships that we gave away to high school students, young men and young ladies. They said COVID was extremely hard and that some of their grades did drop. But they had a commitment to say, I'm not going to let that defeat me. I'm not going to let COVID defeat me. I'm not going to let Zoom defeat me. I'm not going to let any of these things defeat me. And ended up still being able to carry a 3.8, 3.9 GPAs with full scholarships on top of the scholarship we're giving them to go to college. That's where I see hope. But although I see them succeeding, I beg to question those who were not able to have the resources that they have. Did we just leave them behind? Do we have a virtual welcome center for our immigrant and refugee communities to be able to navigate this virtual world? Do we have a physical welcome system so that when they come to the schools that they feel welcome, they feel appreciated, and know that they are a part of this country and this education system? That is what's needed. So for me, I see hope on where we can get to. At the same time, I see some improvements, and I've also seen some school districts make the effort. And last but not least, to my parents, and I'm gonna put my activist hat on. Walk in that school board meeting 10 parents strong, you could change the world. Walk in that school board meeting 10 parents strong and say, look, like they did in New York. In New York in the 60s going into the 70s, they went to the school board meeting and said, we want a community school. In that community school, the parents had control of who was hired as principal, teacher, staff, janitor. When you walk in that school board room, you can change the world, and that is your power. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So I have the toughest job of reminding you about time. So if you can get, good. If you can get like 3 minutes.
All right, no problem. Okay.
Thank you, yeah.
Hello, everyone. I'm so glad to be here. Just like he mentioned earlier, my name is Juliet Anasike, and I'm representing the wonderful parents here. I'm sorry to talk about a little about my faith as Christ ambassador, but I used to say to myself that I'm radical for Christ. But I'll be radical for parents, and I'll be radical for the children tonight. Reason because before I came here, I was telling myself I wasn't truly prepared. But while I was sitting here watching what these kids were doing, oh my God, they swept my feet. And I started making contacts, talking to people, teachers, outside the US, to know what they are also going through during this pandemic. Not just here in the States, to know what other people are also going through. And they were going through the same issues we are having during this pandemic issues. I spoke to someone in Malaysia. I spoke to someone in England. They were facing the same challenges. And I said I was going to talk about them, the teachers. I was going to talk about them. I was going to talk about we, the parents. But I changed my mind when I spoke with my team on School of Choice. And honestly, that's exactly what I'm going to talk about. What I'll be talking about tonight is what we as parents see our kids face in school, which is called bullying. These kids are being bullied. My child faced bully. And as a mother, I also face bully, but my own case is different. I have a thick skin. But what about the kids? Do they have the same thick skin? The cultural diversity is quite different. And that's exactly what we discuss on the table. When I listen to what every other person is saying, deep down in my heart, I was bleeding because I know what my child went through. From the Aurora district and to Denver district. But you know what? The School Choice helped me. I have to call them so my daughter can have a school choice to pick the school she would like to go to. I called the school choice and I asked them, please, can you list all the schools around me where my address is so my daughter can make a choice? Because I don't want her to be bullied. When I hear mothers speak about how their kids are being bullied, I can really relate to their pain and at the same time feel how my daughter was being bullied from Colorado Springs down here to Denver. It's really not easy. We need to stand up and say no, no, no to all that. It's really not, it doesn't encourage those kids to want to go back to school. Right now, when this online schooling came up, some of them remember the bully issue and they don't want to go back to school. They want to stay home to be homeschooled. Some want to stay home, but that's not good. A lot of them lost interest in sports. My daughter used to play basketball for Aurora District, but right now she doesn't play basketball anymore. And as a parent, I'm not happy about it. I don't think anyone would be happy about it. When you know your child represents and when you see your child play, you'll be happy, oh, that's my daughter doing something good. But because the opportunity of online came up, what happened? She said, Mom, I need to grab this. I need to stay home and homeschool. I don't want to go back to school anymore. Let me stay home. But that's not a choice for our kids. We as a parent as well have roles to play on that part too. To talk to them, make them understand. When they interact with other students, interact with other people, they are making ways for themselves. And at the same time going higher and not backward. What am I trying to say here? Teachers as well have roles to play. When you see kids are being bullied, don't just keep quiet. And don't laugh over it. Don't just, take it like it's one of those things. No, you got to stand for these two kids. Make amends and make peace with them. So they can always live to love one another. It doesn't mean when the scripture says, show love to another means you actually love the person. But actually it's for you to work together as a team to accomplish a goal and excel in your academics. Please, on this point, I would like all of us to work together. I saw there is a mental health personnel here. God bless you for coming around. I work in the hospital. I know that's what this online schooling has cost a lot of kids. On a daily basis, students are having AMers. It's called altered mental status cases as a result of this online schooling. A lot of them are being forced to adjust to what they are not used to. And we have patients coming on a daily basis. When you see these kids wear this red, you keep asking yourself, oh my God, what if my kid is on the same clothing? Why? When you speak to them one-on-one, why are you going through this? Why are you taking drugs? Why are you doing this? They say, well, because it's online schooling, nobody is there to watch over what they are doing. They can do whatever they want to do in their room without their parents knowing. We need to always checkmate our kids. We need to also give our kids choices on what they want and listen to them. Most of us, we don't even listen. I work 12 hours shift. And when I come back home, I still work extra hours shift because I need to put these kids through in order for them to be online and at the same time learn. Some of us, we get tired, we don't do this, we don't assist them on doing that. And these kids end up doing what they want to do and get into trouble. Please, collectively we can achieve this goal. Collectively we can make these kids change and understand having this record, AMS in their record is not a good thing. Flight risk is not a good thing. For kids to have in their record, we can as well make these kids understand they are loved and they can be cared for. Thank you and God bless you all.
I don't know how I can follow all of this. My name is Dr. Carrie Olson. I'm the president of the Denver Public Schools Board of Education. But more importantly, I was a teacher for 33 years and a mom of a simultaneous bilingual child who was raised in two cultures, in Russian and in English. So when my table was talking tonight about mental health challenges of having to not be able to take your culture to school and not be able to take school culture home, that resonated a lot with me. And I would like to thank all of you for being here tonight and sharing all of your wise words of wisdom with us. I know that you asked for what I've heard, and I think my table said it best. But I would also like to call on all of us adults in the room to check how we show up for our children when they come to us and say, I'm having a hard time. I gave the analogy of when I was a teacher and a student would come and they would have a toothache or they would have a fever. Immediately the adults would say, you need to go to the nurse, you need to see somebody. But how do we respond when our children come to us and say, I'm sad, I'm being bullied? How do we respond as adults? So make sure that you are showing up for all the children when they come to you. You asked what we can expect this year. Children, you will expect a renewed focus on your learning. Adults who are interested in knowing what you can do and where you are in your learning. You can expect to feel safe, feel fed, feel loved, feel cared for. I share that with you. And known and seen for who you are. And if you're not getting that, not only should you have 10 parents showing up at a board meeting, I would say 10 students should show up to a board meeting. We do not hear from enough students in our school board. Students need to show up at board meetings. I'll let you in on a little secret. As the person who controls public comment, you're only supposed to get 3 minutes, but children always get a little bit longer, especially as they're trying to get their words out. So I would encourage all of the children here, come and tell us what you're thinking and feeling. Tell the people all the adults in your life what you're thinking and feeling. If you're not getting what you need, advocate for yourself. And I hope that someday, for those of you who are struggling, like my daughter did when she would say, they're making fun of me because I can't say those words like everybody else does, or I only know the word in Russian, I don't know the word in English. I said, honey, someday this is going to be a beautiful thing, and you're going to see it's wonderful to be able to walk in two worlds, to be able to walk into a room full of Russian people and be able to navigate that culture, and then come to my world as an American and see how we navigate our culture. And to the children at my table who shared that that's hard, one day you will recognize that's a gift your family has given you, and you're going to be richer for it, and you're going to be seen and known as the bicultural people that you are, or multilingual and multicultural people. And what gives me hope? It's always the children. Always students give me hope, the way you show up and the way you're willing to tell the adults what you need, and just keep talking to us and educating us on what you need, because we are here for you. And thank you all for being here this evening.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Wow. From radical trust to just trusting that we need to advocate for ourselves. We're going to open it up for questions. So I'm going to give you 30 seconds to think of a question that you might have for our panelists. I know Uzi has the mic, and I'm going to ask our panelists to have 2 minutes to respond, to just be mindful of time. I want to see some hands up.
We got one right here.
Okay, let's go for it.
So my question is, what can we do to normalize more mental health conversations in school and at home?
Who do you want to have answer that question?
Anybody who can answer it.
Did you guys hear that?
No, can you repeat again?
What can we do to normalize more mental health conversations in school and at home?
Normalizing mental health in schools and at home.
Thank you. I know at DPS, Denver Public Schools, that's one of our 3 transition goals, priorities. And I like how you phrased the question, mobilize. And you said at school, and thank you, Mom, for identifying the supports that we have, allowing our doors to open so the supports can come in. But we can be a little radical and mobilize the efforts, to your word, meaning what's stopping us from creating that nexus, meaning if the support needs to happen in this region or in that home, that's where I would like to explore the conversation. So of course, opening the doors, but seeing how we can bridge that gap and come to you. So something that we'll love to explore in Denver Public Schools. Thank you for the question.
Thank you.
I appreciate the question. Our voters in Aurora allowed us a year or 2 ago to actually engage and bring on mental health supports. as well as before and after school care. And so my question goes back to once again, you trusted us with your vote in order to make sure that we executed on our promise. And so we have to make sure that from every level within the organization that we are executing on the things that you've asked us to do. And every time that there is a gap, that means that we're not doing the things that we have promised you. And so we have to get to the point where it's not taboo to say, I'm having a problem. It's not. I'm having a bad day. You shouldn't have to turn the fire drill on and everybody run out. You shouldn't have to send the child somewhere because they said, I'm having a bad day, or morning, or afternoon. Every adult in our system has to be uniquely situated to be able to address that statement. Because that's the first statement that you get before other things might happen. And I tell you, if you work backwards from all the bad things that have occurred, somebody said, I'm having a bad day. And the response may not have been acceptable. And then you get the other things that happen. So all of us have a responsibility to be able to respond to every situation, I get that, but also when a student says, pause the lesson for me so I can connect, we have to be able to do that.
Thank you so much. Do you have another question?
Hello? My name is Binta Job. I'm a 10th grade at East High School. And my question, my table is after and before school programs. And a topic that came up a lot was transportation. So a question I have is, what will transportation look like for after school programs, especially for people who live far away from their schools?
Great question. And I want to make sure I give you the appropriate response. I can say that I am going to make sure that there are no obstacles for students, in particular those who have shown any regression. And I'm going to use that term very loosely. I'm sure you have seen, and it's embargoed so I can't go into details, but I saw the state results. And it's everything that we expected, right? So it shouldn't be a surprise in terms of where our students are. And I was quoted last week in terms of what I mentioned in terms of elongating the school day. And it was ill-received, I would say, by some members of our community. I'm still shocked that that's the case, right? So if we had 18 months of interrupted instruction, our normalcy in terms of what we do best as educators and what you do best in terms of being a learner, then why wouldn't we try to catch up in terms of those minutes, seconds, and hours lost? So I'm happy you're asking that question because that tells me you, one of our constituents' most important groups that should be coming up to the board meeting, as Dr. Olson mentioned, want to engage and make up for time lost in those precious moments. So if there's an obstacle in terms of transportation, I know I'm not direct, right? Because I can't tell you exactly what it's going to look like, but I know it's not going to be an obstacle at East or anywhere else.
I think transportation is something that just about all school districts is probably trying to figure out, especially transportation after school, the logistics. One of the things that we're also pushing is making sure that the same services are in each feeder school area. So then that cuts down on the amount of transportation that you need. If you have one school that has something that a student wants and it's across town and it's not within their feeder model, then we need to change that system so that students can ride their bikes, walk, parents can pick them up and things of this nature if it's in their local feeder model. Also connecting with community organizations and local nonprofits. Some of them are offering transportation. We just got to make sure some things are safe and that they're going through the right things. But I think your question is extremely important, and we need to figure out how do we also partner with our parks and recs that are near our kids' schools with the school district and offer those same services as well.
Thank you. Do we have another question?
Statement and a question. Food should be free for every student nationwide, K through 12. My question is, when will non-English languages become a permanent part of the curriculum, K through 12? I didn't ask should, I said when.
That question should be posed to the folks who sit at the stage. So, well, we're all not trying to avoid the answer. I don't know if we are in a position to answer that question. However, that question, exactly how it was posed, so firm and authoritative, needs to be posed by you and all others, including us, to the folks who sit in the offices up in Capitol Hill, and I'm going well beyond the Colorado state. I'm talking Capitol Hill in DC, so they can implement true change when it comes to policy.
Thank you. We're going to take one last question.
She been waiting.
Hello?
And I'm gonna get one more from that side after this one.
Maybe you can have all of them ask the questions, then we can have the responses. So we can have 1, 2 at that table and another one over there. So 3 questions, 3 last questions.
Okay. Hi, guys. I'm over here. Over here. Hey, guys. Right here. So, as an APS parent, I faced challenges for the last 4 years with the staff, the principal, and I had no resolution, and it's getting worse. And for my situation to fix, I said, I'll just move. My son is a senior. He wanted to stay at this particular school. I said, I'll get through it, but after that, I'm leaving. I'm just gonna leave the state of Colorado. I dealt with every school district from Denver to Aurora to even Cherry Creek. And it doesn't seem like it's getting better. So when I addressed the principal with the situations I had concerning my children, it ended in a shouting match and an argument. And at the end of the day, there still was no solution to protecting my child and her situation and protecting my son and his situation. So at the end of the day, where do I go if I can't get a solution to the problems I'm facing? Who do I talk to change?
Me. As soon as this is over.
Hello, my name is Kadi, and this is the same question that I have it over and over again, and I'm never gonna get tired until we have a bilingual school in Denver Northeast. Thanks to APS, they have thought about having bilingual school and a multilingual school for their community member, and then people who are living in Denver Northeast, there are a lot of schools there, especially charter school, but we don't have bilingual school. We want our kids to learn foreign language. We want them to be able to speak to our parents when we call home. We don't have the time to teach them the native language or the traditional language. So people who are living in the Denver Northeast, there is no single bilingual school or multilingual school. We're living in a diverse community. I believe that DPS Board of Members, they should think about us and then try to help us in that way. We, all of us that wants to have our child becoming bilingual or multilingual, we all have our child in APS school. We don't have choice. The school is far from us, there is the transportation is an issue, but we have to accommodate with it. I'm sorry, so please, DPS board member, you need to think about people who are living in a diverse community. We have a diverse community. It's not that we're living in a diverse community. We already have it. We need a bilingual school in the Denver Northeast. We do need it. Thank you. So now, I want to know, is there any plan to have a bilingual school in the future for Denver Northeast? If yes, when? If no, are you guys planning to have a bilingual school for Denver Northeast residents? Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to have quick 2 questions so we can have time to answer that.
Tatenda, I think I was next. I promise I'm not cutting the line.
It's okay, Papa.
Thank you. I think as an organization and a community, it was extremely important to us. We have leaders from APS, DPS, and Cherry Creek. And I know quite often we talk about us as a community collaborating with the district. My question is there any partnership from APS, DPS, and Cherry Creek as a district working together to solve issues that our kids are facing from one district to another? Thank you.
All right, while you're thinking about how to respond to that question, I'll go ahead with mine. I have one question, but before I go to the question, I have a statement to make. And I want to encourage every parent here, students who speak more than one language, who do not even understand English. I want to say that be proud, because I am proud parce que je parle français. I'm proud parce que yo hablo español. And I'm proud because I speak English. And wherever I go in the United States, whether it's English, French, or Spanish, I integrate, I speak, I communicate. So never feel inferior, never feel disturbed because you don't speak English the American way. Because Americans have an accent itself. Everybody do have an accent. New York have an accent when they speak English. And of course, the rednecks have an accent when they speak English. So when I speak English, because I'm Francophone, or Xenophone, or Anglophone, it is that I have an accent. So be proud for that. Everybody, parents and students. My question is to the board here. What are you, what's the board or the city or police or the district doing to help abused children? Because right now we're talking about children with mental health issues, behavioral issues, and of course sometimes some of these things also come from their homes. I believe that what the law is doing right now is not enough. What security are you giving to these children coming to school every single day facing this abuse from their homes, sometimes all the way in school? I just want to ask that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And
one more. Just one more. That's it.
Wow.
She's been waiting.
Good evening again, and thank you for being here. So this question is from a student, and I couldn't help myself but ask it. When one of our students in our panel said that the joy of school was taken away from him, my heart sank as a mom. So I'm asking you tonight, what are the districts doing in order to bring back that joy to the kids when they have to navigate and try to adapt with the new norms that school is? So that was my question, without causing any anxiety to them, since we are dealing with mental health.
Thank you. Okay.
So how do we want to respond to some of these? So
I
have the mic. I'm responding.
And Dr. Alex, you've been given permission to do your New Yorker accent.
Yeah,
so
I'm starting with my man right here. Yeah. What are you talking about? I have a New York accent, right? What are you talking about? Felicidades, señor. I loved your question, and I'm going to try to answer both. And mom via the student. As simple as it sounds, allowing us to make tough decisions, like requiring our professionals to get vaccinated, thanks to Mayor Hancock, having us universally masked. You see Mr. Wright, you see myself, you see Dr. Olson, right, representing the choices that we made at our district. Those choices will allow us to open our doors and have that intimacy that young student missed, all right?
So as simple as that seems, it's monumental in terms of what we can re-engage, right? And once we allow them in, sir, then we'll be able to gauge what we've been missing for the past 18 months and what they've been struggling with as well. In terms of Papa and your questions, I'm new, right? So I'm gonna play ignorant here, but what I can say is that the superintendents have an intimate circle in which on a daily basis and a formal weekly meeting, we engage to make sure we share best practices and also share the struggles that we are enduring.
Okay. Hello. Just to add to what he has said earlier, to respond to the behavioral health personnel and the gentleman that spoke, like I said earlier, we parents we have big roles to play in our kids' life. We actually have big roles. It is not about the district this time. It's not about the school this time. It's not about anyone else this time. It is about we and our kids. We have big roles. Now, like I said, I usually use myself as an example. I'm a mother. What I do is, starting from the little girl over there with you, what I do when they're passing through challenges, I call them in. When everybody is sleeping, I wake that child up. Can you tell me what you said earlier? Can you tell me what your problem is? Like I said, we have challenges, just like husband and wife. When you have issue with your husband, and you know yelling can solve the problem, just keep quiet, allow peace to be. Midnight, 2 a.m., wake the person up and talk to the person. I believe you'll make sense to the person's life. No matter what. No matter what. So if that child is going through challenges, he doesn't have interest about school, some of us go through those challenges. My own idea on this issue is call and speak to your child. You can actually save that child's life. You can actually make a very big impact in that child's life. And at the same time, sir, based on what you're talking about, bully, it's just the same thing. You need to talk to your child in before somebody else can advise your child outside. You got a big role to play on that part as a parent. You don't need anybody to do that assignment for you. We have to start inside. It says charity begins at home. If you don't find charity at home, then you can go outside, seek for charity. I don't know if you understand my point on this. Please, let us work as parents to be able to make our kids understand the importance of education. When bully comes, you know where we came from. You know the roots. We face bully all the time back home. You got to tell your child you need to put on that thick skin. Wear that thick skin. That's what you need to do. When somebody bully you, act like the person is not existing. Act like whatever they're saying to you is not existing. But when you pet the child and keep saying, oh, you sure they did that to you? Oh, I might do this, I'll do that. Then you are making that child to be a weakling. You're making that child not to be strong. You're making that child to believe that I'm a failure. No child is a failure. We as parents need to work hard to make our child develop that thick skin and develop interest for school. Thank you all.
I know we're way over time, but I want to address your question. You're correct. We don't have a dual language program out in the far northeast. We do have multi-language programs in schools, but you're right, we don't have a dedicated dual language program. Denver Public Schools is committed to the seal of biliteracy. I'm sure you're familiar with that. Students can graduate with a special seal on their diploma, indicating that they speak more than one language, English and Arabic and French, or English and Russian, or English and Farsi, whatever it is. So we do have that value, and that is something that we will work towards. And I would invite you to email me. I know Papa has my contact information. I'd love to put you in contact with Jennifer Bacon, who's the board representative in that region. I know she's done a lot of strategic planning and thinking about what type of school models do we need for the far northeast. But el ser bilingüe vale por dos, y yo también soy bilingüe, entonces entiendo que los dos idiomas, así es lo que necesitamos. The bilingual person is worth two, and I share that value with you.
I'm just going to be very brief and go through each and every. The bullying. Someone asked a question about the bullying. All school districts are trying to work together to address the bullying, even putting up where you can do the safe to tell programs in just about all the districts. But more importantly, we have to have people on the ground that students feel comfortable going to share it before it becomes a mental health issue. Once it becomes a mental health issue, it becomes a physical health issue. With that stated, with Cherry Creek School District, we're partnered with Stride Medical Center, and we're actually going to have a pilot this year where we'll have a full medical center on one of our high schools and one of our middle schools, and if this partnerships work out the way it should, we should be seeing it in all of our feeder models. So we're looking forward to that. The parent, who do you go to after you done had an argument with the principal? And every single district has parent liaisons that can help guide you and walk you through the process. And you should be able to request that at every single school district. There's someone that will work with the parents and be that liaison between you and the principal. And I'm pretty correct about just about every district has it. And last but not least, Papa partnerships. Hey man, you got us on stage, so we're gonna be partnering. And child abuse, we got us on stage, so we got to exchange information and partner. Everything I just said about the mental health, the medical centers, adding more mental health workers in the district, which we've done, is going to help with the child abuse and working with our school social workers and our teachers to identify when these things are taking place. They are required to report. So I hope I was able to hit all those things. And sister, bringing that joy back, bringing that joy back is more than just being on the school ground. It's going to be all of us as parents in the community when we walk our kids to school, when they get out of school, to let them know it's not going to be just like it was when they were in school. We have to help them adjust, because by the way, there's more coming that's going to push them. We have to be there to help them adjust as we move forward. So it's going to take all of us as a village to bring that joy back. Thank you.
Yeah. No. Well.
I just want to respond to the. What's her name again?
The question about mental health.
Yes. The young lady over there. Okay, this time is about the student, okay? Yes, I'm responding to you. It's about the students. Look, students are very creative. When I was in your age, when something is bothering me so much in school, we actually help our fellow students by creating speak out organizations. You can create a speak out group where you all can also interact your problems together and share your problems together. When it becomes too difficult, you can talk to your teacher. When you see a student, your fellow student, doing something that is improper, something that is not right, you see a behavior that is not right, that is unspeakable, you can actually save that student's life. By doing what? Speaking up to that student, asking what the problem is. And when the student refuses to talk to you, you can meet with the school management. That is a way of helping that student from that challenges. Creating a group, a little group, but you have to get a school approval for that group to stand. If that group stands, you all can help yourself out from each problems that you are having. Then if you cannot solve the problems in school, then you have your parents at home. Your parents will always give you the idea on how to go around helping all the students, even in school, and at the same time bring it up before the board management. Believe me, the school will always stand up for you. Thank you.
And thank you. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise and your wisdom, your knowledge, and your evening with us. We really, really appreciate it. And I'm going to have Papa Dia to thank our distinguished guest.
Thank you so much, Tatenda. And we were very intentional bringing the school leaders from 3 different districts. And as you know, the African Leadership Group is a very action-oriented organization. We have this conversation now. Now, what is next? What are we going to do next on all this issue that we talk about? So, Dr. Alex, I've met with you. Your first week to Denver, Colorado, you made it a point to reach out to community members. We want to continue that. We want to keep that collaboration just know that you can reach out to us and count on us. We will be there to support you. You will be there to communicate with you so you can know about the issue we are facing so we can continue this collaboration. Mr. Wright, it's truly a pleasure to have you. Please let the APS leadership that we are so eager to collaborate and partner. The vast majority of our kids, they go to APS, but yet we haven't had the opportunity to strengthen our relationship with APS. We are eager and we want it. Thank you so much for being here. It's truly an honor. We've been wanting this for so long and we want to continue that. So Omar, you know you're part of the family. So I don't need to tell you anything, but when we know that Omar was nominated to be the head of diversity and equity inclusion for the Cherry Creek, we were so honored to do that because we know that we have a representation. So count on us to help you on what you need to do, for also to know about what we need. Dr. Olsen, it's truly a pleasure. And also the board can count on us. Now, as a parent, as a community, we also have a part in this conversation. Those days that we talk about these things and go and stay at home are over. We need to show up to the school board of director meeting because that's what they want. If they don't hear from us, we cannot have this change that we want. Please, I'm asking every single one of you. The African Leadership Group is here and we have the schedule for both all these districts, APS, DPS, Cherry Creek. So we'll give you the schedule so you can make it a point to go and listen to what's happening. Because the reality is, if you are not there, people are gonna have to make a decision for you. And we cannot be complaining later about those issues. As much we want to hold them accountable, we need to hold ourselves accountable. And that's the reason we have Juliet as a panelist, because the parents' perspective is also important. Thank you so much for speaking up. And you knew you were sitting here not just for yourself, but for the entire community, and you made us proud and you represented us extremely well. Now, to our children and our partners. So we have Ready Colorado, Colorado Succeed, we have 10. What we want to address, we are well aware that we cannot do it alone because the education system is very complex. So we have partners that work on policy, partners that work on laws, and they are eager also to partner with us. So what I will ask and end with, we know we are a very inclusive organization. Every day when you step outside of your house, make it a point to reach out to somebody that might look different than you, that might sound like you, and I can guarantee you can learn something from them. So please give our panelists a big round of applause. And we know this conversation is to be continued. But this is just the second day of Afrik Impact, so know that we have a few more days to go. So on Wednesday, we have the Business Economic Forum. It is extremely important because I've said this before. I sit on the board for Energize Colorado, where the state of Colorado is allocating a lot of money as grant. Our brother Omar, the NAACP, also have grant program. It breaks my heart anytime I raise my hand to vote for money to be allocated to somebody and none of those persons are from our community. The resources are here. So the African Leadership Group put together an amazing panelist. Amazon has a lot of millions of dollars they're giving as grant. They will be there. The NAACP will be there. Energize Colorado will be there. Please, please make it a point to register to show up to this very important business forum so we know where the money is so we can build generational wealth we need in our community. Thank you so much for your time. Enjoy the evening, and we'll see you all Wednesday. Thank you. Appreciate you. That's right. Thank you so much. Really.